Now understand, if I would have made the minimum payment on all three private student loans, paid it off in 15 years, then it would have cost me $77,000. 190 or $77,192. That's a $36,000 difference. Almost $36,000 difference. I just saved myself $36,000 by not paying the minimum amount. Yo, what's goody, Latrell in a hoodie, and welcome to another episode of the Brother Next Door podcast, where we talk about finance, personal development, and skills to get you further in life, your actual steps, and my own personal experiences. And this episode is very personal. It's an experience, and it's very exciting, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail. I am paying off my last private student loan on today. And so I'm very excited. This episode is going to be jam-packed with information. We got TikTok we're going to watch and react to. You're going to see me actually pay the loan off. And then I'm going to help you guys out with some other information as far as student loans, as I've been doing in this series of paying it off. I've already done 2 episodes of this. So if you haven't, go back and watch those. But this is the final private student loan. I still have federal student loans that I need to pay. But right now we focus on the private student loans, and we're going to take care of that today. Now, as I was doing research, as I was going across the deep blue sea of the internet, I came across a bunch of TikToks talking about student loans, of course. But this one stuck out the most, and this is one I definitely want to talk about before we get into paying off my student loan. So let's get right into it.
I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I have to say, honestly, I'm not going to encourage my kids to go to...
You know what? I'm not going to make y'all listen to all this at regular speed. We're going to go 1.5.
College. Are you? I just don't think it's worth it. I went to college for 6 years. I'm a pharmacist, so... technically for me, I guess on paper it was worth it because I have a good paying job, but I also have a lot of student loan debt that I'm still paying off. And I was lucky. My education cost $250,000. And my parents were able to pay for like half of that.
$250,000. And her parents were able to pay for half of it. Fam, that's what, that's about 4.5 times. I paid that, bro. That's insane. My bad.
So I got really lucky. When I graduated, I had like $125,000 in student loans that I had to pay back. I had classmates who had to put the entire education on loans. I can't even fathom how they're doing, honestly. I remember when I got my first student loan check or student loan bill in the mail. I had been out of pharmacy school like 6 months or something, I think is when it started. It was $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month just for student loans. I still needed a place to live and a car to drive and food to eat, right? So I ended up financing it for like a longer term. I think that was like a 10 or 20 year repayment. I don't know what it was, but I ended up lengthening the term to get the payments down so I could actually afford to live. And I'm still paying them off, and I've been out of pharmacy school for 13 years. And I'm stuck. I'm working a job that, honestly, most days I loathe. I feel like I've sold myself to the devil every day at work. I don't really agree with a lot of the policies. I don't agree with a lot of modern medicine. A lot of the medications that people are coming in and taking, God, it's poison. It's poison. You're being kept sick to buy the prescriptions to make the money for the big companies, and it's horseshit. Don't get me started. But I'm working in a profession that I largely disagree with, but I can't afford to work anywhere else because I have to make pharmacist money to afford to pay back my student loans while still affording to live. So yeah, I'm not going to encourage my kids to go to college, honestly. If they have a specific career path that involves a college degree, like, and they're determined, and that's one thing. Like nursing, you need a college degree to become a nurse. But like, basically the medical field. If you want to work in the medical field, obviously you need a college degree, and you know you're going to get a job. It's a pretty much guaranteed job placement if you have a medical degree. But you aren't getting an art history degree. You're not going to get some, like my ex-husband has a political science degree, but he never did anything with it. It's different if you want to like go into a specific field and you've got this plan. But most people are just going to college because you're expected to go to college, and then you have to pay back those loans. You're working a retail job now, paying back student loans, and for what? So you got to party for 4 years at college and have the college experience? It's not worth it. I would sooner encourage my kids to go into a trade school, become an electrician or a plumber. You'll make so much more money doing that than even being like a teacher, for crying out loud. College largely is a scam. I feel like most of what our society has set up for us is a scam. Honestly, I'm getting more and more cynical by the day. But I'm now stuck working a job I pretty much hate because like they got me. I owe too much. I got to keep doing it. There's no other job where I can make enough to live and still pay back my student loans. But when you're 17, 18, whatever, you see the dollar sign of what you're going to make. Like as a pharmacist, yeah, you make good money. But shit, that college is expensive. And I got lucky. I did it in 6 years because it's a doctorate program. You have to get your doctorate to be a pharmacist. And I was lucky. I was in a program where as long as I kept my grades up, I could do it in 6 years. But there were a lot of pharmacists who went to school for 8 years. I can't even imagine what those student loans look like. So anyway, I'm just saying college is overrated, and I'm not sending my kids unless they absolutely want to go. How about you?
Bro, That was a lot in a minute and 30 seconds. That was a whole lot. And so understand, let me give y'all the stats again. $250,000 in debt for school. Her parents are not in debt, but $250,000 to get the degree to become a pharmacist. So understand, $1,500 she has to pay every single month. That's some people's card note at this point. People be going crazy with the card notes, but that's some people's mortgage. That's some people's rent. $1,500 to go to school. And you heard what she said. Now she's locked into it because she feels like she can't get a job anywhere else that's going to pay her enough to cover that $1,500. She got kids. I think she has like 3 kids. And so it's just like, bruh, she got to do what she got to do now with these student loans. And so be very, very careful. I'm talking to the freshmen in college that just started, or if you're a little bit further along, sophomore, junior, whatever year you're in. Be very, very careful before taking out these student loans. Why? Because it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to pay them off if you're not in the correct field, if you're not in the right field after graduating. If you do graduate, understand it's about 42 million people in student loan debt, and then it's about $1.2 trillion that makes up that 42 million. And so understand there's a lot of debt, and we just normalize it and just think it's okay. Family, it is not okay. We need to avoid debt as much as possible. And if we do get into debt, come up with a game plan to pay it off as soon as possible. That's what I'm doing. Figure out what works best for your situation, but it makes the most sense for me to pay it off as soon as possible. And you're going to see why. I'm going to show you the numbers why in a second. So for what you guys came here for me to pay off my student loan. Now understand, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, all my private student loans were with Discover, but then Discover sold their student loan portfolio to another bank, and so now First March Services handles my student loans, which is which Nelnet owns, which is very interesting. Is where my federal student loans are at, is with Nelnet. So it's funny how that works. But that being said, nonetheless, we're gonna take care of these student loans on today. And so the good thing about it, at least with them transferring, is they closed that account with Discover and they opened up a new account with First Mark. And so what that means is now I get another account on my credit report, another positive account on my credit report saying, hey, I paid off this loan and now I have another loan, another student loan that I'm about to pay off right now. So it's gonna have 1 day worth of history, or 1 week worth of history, but hey, it's gonna be paid off, and that is all that matters. So let's go ahead and sign in real quick. I'm sorry y'all gotta go through this with me, but it wouldn't stay signed in, so we just gonna rock with it. But understand, family, do what you can to get federal student loans first. Why? Because they're generally going to have a lower interest rate compared to private student loans. And so if you can get it, max them out as much as possible. I ain't gonna say try to avoid them as much as possible, but if there's no way of avoiding them, try to utilize federal student loans as much as possible before you have to dip into private student loans. And so here we are on the First March Services account. This account is fresh, brand new, but it's about to get closed real quick. As you can see, my current payoff is $1,478.87. Let's go ahead and make a payment I'm gonna copy that. If it'll let me copy. Copy. Make payment. Payment amount. Paste. Checking. Proceed. You are currently enrolled in auto debt but are attempting to make a one-time payment. Your auto debt will continue to pull as normally scheduled. Do you wish to continue make this additional payment? Yes. Payment date will be tomorrow, Friday. Total payment amount, boom, checking account. We'll blur all that out. I think that's it. I read and agreed. Pay now. So there it is. Confirmation number, note affected, all that good stuff. Blah blah blah. We gonna save for the records. Save PDF. Like I said, y'all walking through this with me. I haven't done this before, so y'all seeing this. Y'all going through this with me at right now. And so that's saved. That's paid for. So now we're gonna go back to loan details. And it should be 0. Yes, sir. Amount, past due amount, outstanding fees. Let's see. Usually it'll say it. Maybe not. Well, that is paid off. And so now I no longer have to worry about that loan. And so understand this was a $13,000 loan, family. $13,000. And so 15-year term as my other 2 Discover loans. And it was a 6.34 interest rate. So that means my monthly payment after the grace period, which my grace period was November 8th or something like that. I think it was supposed to start next week. I was supposed to start making payments on these loans, but I paid them all off before the grace period ended. Praise God. So the monthly payment for this one was $112. Understand, I would have paid $13,000 as principal, and then the interest would have been $7,178 if I would have made the minimum payments for 15 years. So I just want to show you guys the power and have you guys really understand why it's important to pay them off as soon as you can. Pay off your student loans as soon as you can. And so we're going to stop the screen share. That's that. But understand, we're talking about my private student loans. We're not talking about federal. But as far as private student loans go, the original amount I owed, or the principal amount, was $34,000. And that started September 2020. So September 2020, and then 2021, and then 2022, all three of those years, I accumulated a principal balance of $34,000. Principal just means what you started with for people who don't truly understand student loans. I paid, right after today, I've paid $41,411.52 within the span of 4 years. Or you could look at it this way: I paid $7,411.52 in interest over the course of these 4 years. Now understand, if I would have made the minimum payment on all 3 private student loans, paid it off in 15 years, then it would have cost me $77,192. That's a $36,000 difference, almost $36,000 difference. I just saved myself $36,000 by not paying the minimum amount on the student loans and going ahead and attacking it as hard as I could as soon as I graduated and going from there. And so if you're new, understand I'm on this journey of paying off my student loans within 1 year after graduating. My job graciously hired me on full time a year before I graduated. So I already had that head start. I already had a year to go. So really it's been 2 years of focus paying off this debt. Or well, 1.5 years of really being focused and paying off this debt. And so understand that's what my goal is. That's what I'm attacking right now. Now we're going to go over to the federal side and take care of those loans. Those interest rates are significantly lower. Understand this last loan I paid had the lowest of the federal, which was 6.34%. I actually have it right here. Yes, 6.34%. And then the other two were 11. I don't even have to try to memorize it, fam. It's right here for you. It's 11. So this one's 12. So it's 11.34% and then 12.64% interest rate. So on a $6,000 loan, right? That's when I already paid off $6,000 loan, 12.64% interest rate, to try to help you guys, give you guys different set points to get as close as your loans as possible, if that makes sense. So you get an idea of how much interest you'll be paying if you make the minimum payments. $6,000 loan, 12.64% interest rate. The finance charge or the interest you'll be paying is $9,786. That's more than the original loan amount. So that means total you'll be paying $15,000 for a $6,000 loan. That is not okay. The next loan was 11% interest rate. This was with a $15,000 loan. $15,000, 11.34%. The finance charge is $26,000. $26,000 for the total payment of $41,227. That's why I'm harping on you young folk, right? To pay this off as soon as possible is because yes, it's low payments. Yes, it's only $100, $200, $300, $400 a month. But if you really dig down and start paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, if your situation allows it, if your job or multiple jobs allow it, if you even $1,000 a month, if you can attack it as hard as you can for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then you'll be a lot better off in the long run. Like I said, I've saved myself over $30,000 by making a decision to take the past year and a half to attack this debt as hard as I can. So I can't harp it enough. I want to sound like a broken record because I want to get this through y'all's head if nobody has gotten this through your head. It's not something you want to be in. You don't want to be in my case, thank God, it's only $52,000, $53,000 total. You don't want to be in that situation. You really don't. You want to pay it off as soon as you can. And so that's really all I have for this episode, family. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I appreciate y'all listening to the episode. Take care of your debt. Pay it off. Don't wait for politicians. Don't wait for the election to see what they're going to do. Look, I'm not going to get political, but look what happened with the last promise. Don't wait for somebody to take care of something that you signed up for. Were you in full knowledge of what you were getting yourself into? Probably not. Is that 100% your fault? Definitely not. I got suckered into it as well. But you signed the paper. It's now your responsibility. You got to take responsibility for the actions. It is what it is. It sucks. I'm taking responsibility for my actions. So I'm not being a hypocrite. Y'all see me paying mine off. Go ahead and just take care of business. Don't wait for somebody else to save you, family. Don't wait for nobody else to save you. Save yourself. Get out of the debt. And I'm telling you, a weight will be lifted off your shoulders. I already feel it now. It feels great to not have private student loans anymore. So take those nuggets, run with them, do more research. Don't just watch my video and make your decision. Do other research. Look at other points of view. See why people hold on to their student loans and see if that makes more sense. But to me, and on this show and on this podcast, my goal is to pay off this debt as fast as possible within a year of graduating. And that's what I plan on doing by May 2025. So I will see y'all in the next episode. Peace.